Alrighty, welcome back. I'm your man, Bad Chad, and I'm back at it again. We're on air. You can't tell, but we're on air. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to start fabricating a flat deck for the race car. That's what this truck is going to be for. What I'm thinking is, Jolie's got her little race car there. We'll be able to slide the race car on the back of it. We'll be able to truck around any place we want to and take it off and check it out and see if it works good, if it don't work good. And also, it'll be a nice, it'll be nice together to have the race car on the back of the truck. That's what we're going to use it for. So I'm going to fabricate a bed for it. At the end of the video, I'm going to show what I have been doing to the Bugatti, just go over the process on that, or the progress on that. Because I think you need to know or you want to see or whatever, but I'm working on that also. But right now I'm fabricating a flat deck. And also when I'm fabricating the deck on this truck, I'm trying to keep it as reasonable as possible. So when I ordered my materials, I'm thinking of price, I'm thinking how I'm going to do it, how I'm going to make it work, all that sort of stuff. Basically, I know that, you know, I could just put 2x4 studs going across and weld them all together and have a flat deck on it, angle it down like this, and we can get it on. I know that. But what I'm thinking is, I do not want to add something on the top of the frame to get it higher in the air than it has to be. The suspension I probably could lower, but I'm not doing that right at the present moment. My sound okay? It is now? I didn't want to put, like, I could put like 2x across the top of it like this. Well, that takes it up 2 and 3 inches. That takes it up even higher than it wants to be, or that I want it to be. I want it to be as low as possible. I don't want to really go much higher than what the chassis is. So what I have done is I have ordered some 3/16 angle iron. And what I'm, you know, it doesn't seem like much, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it so it does work. Basically, what I'm going to do is I want to lay the flat on the chassis, and when I don't know how to explain it. I'm going to cut it up here and cut a notch out of it and set it down flat on the chassis. What I'm thinking is, when I put the deck on top, or I put any weight down on top of it, or on this part of here, because the weight's not going to be on the chassis, it's going to be on the outside, what I'm doing. So when I do it, I'm going to cut it up here, notch it out for the chassis. This piece is going to lay flat down on the chassis, which is 3/16. When the weight comes down on that, the 2-inch here is going to go against the chassis so it cannot bend down. I may as well cut a piece to show what I mean. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it every 16 inches along. I'm just going to stud it up like you would stud a house up. And I went 16 inches because that's basically what your studs are in your house, 16 inches. So I want to put a wooden deck on it. That's another thing in mind. I want to put a wooden deck on it. And basically, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw a little picture right now just to show you what's in my brain. And then we can go to what I'm going to make and how I'm going to do it. Okay, let's do it. So I'm not going to draw a fantastic picture. I'm not going to try to, I'm just going to draw a picture. So here's our truck. I'll put the windows in, I guess. Why not? So we've got our truck coming along like that. What I want to do for this truck on the deck part, we have our running board down here. We're going to go straight back. We have our wheel. I'm going to make this truck, I guess you call it a tandem. I'm going to have 2 wheels in the back. I'm not going to have them, I've got one here, then I'm going to put another wheel back here. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to make something different. You don't usually see a 48 Ford with a tandem wheel like that, and that's basically why I'm doing it. I want to do something different. So I'm going to put 2 wheels on it, obviously in the back, tandem wheel. I'm going to do that. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. This is my chance to make whatever I want, and I suggest you do the exact same thing when you're doing your project. Make what you want to make yourself happy. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry it out here like this. I'm going to make, I got a stack in the back. I might as well draw that on there now. There's our stack. I'm going to make a deck on it that goes like this. This is what I'm thinking. And it might change at any point in time. It might change. I always say that because something might happen. Another idea might come up, whatever. But basically what I'm thinking is the deck's going to come back like this. I want to make something that no one else has and only Jolene has for a race car. So what I'm thinking is all this here like this will be exhaust pipe. All the way around the edge. That's how I'm going to get that shape that I want. I'm not sure if I'm going to exhaust pipe it around the top of the wheels or not, but that's basically what's going on here. If you can follow what's going on, I'm going to have, that's going to be exhaust pipe all the way along here. I'm thinking that you know how I'm going to bend it and apply it. So that's one shape, what I'm going for. Then I'm going to take another piece of exhaust pipe. It's going to be in here. So I'm just going to draw the exhaust pipe going around. Not sure what I'm going to do over top of the wheels yet, not sure. And this might not be right to scale, obviously. So what I have is I have, it looks obviously like a deck of some sort. This is going to be open in here. I'm going to put, this is going to be exhaust pipe here. Then it's going to be a piece of, we'll say 14 gauge. I don't need 8th plate, I don't think. 14 gauge, 8th plate, something like that. It's going to be welded from the exhaust pipe here down to this exhaust pipe here. So there's going to be, this is all going to be metal around here, all the way around. This is all going to be open here. So Jolene's car, you'll probably see the back part of it here, slant it down with the chassis and the front end, the engine up in here. Also, when I do this, I'm not for sure, but what I'm thinking is where the body had a lot of holes in it, where we drilled a lot of holes in the car, I want the truck to be the hauler for the race car. So in my brain as a kid is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of a truck, like a toy truck that a kid would haul a race car around in. I don't want something that's, like I said, somebody else has. So what I'm thinking is, Jolene gave me this idea, is to maybe we'll put holes all the way around the 8th plate or the 14 gauge that we close that in, just to make it look different, to make it look like a toy. I go there in my brain sometimes when I build things, toys. Not sure what I'm doing over the top of the wheels yet, but go on now, go bug somebody else. So basically that's what I'm thinking for the bed. Jolene's car frame has a bunch of holes in it like that. We're going to have dual wheels in the back, a stack, no bunk, and a race car in the back. So you'll see Jolene's race car up inside here. You'll see all the holes in the frame there, whatever. So basically that's what I'm going for. And that's what I'm going to try to build in front of your very eyes. So I started off with 11 pieces of angle iron, 3/16. So I've got them cut right to length. I've cut them 6 feet, 72 inches long. And the reason being I did that is because I'm going to my running board. That's where I'm going. I'm going to the running board, basically. Got some exhaust pipe here. I think when I weld the exhaust pipe on, it'll just be on the outside of the running board a little bit, and we're going to weld it on this. You'll see, because I'm going to take you through the whole process. And I've never built one before, so it might change as I go. You're probably wondering, how am I going to get the other wheel behind this wheel? This is going to be my drive wheel, obviously. Then I went to town and I've bought these things. This is a Torsion Bar suspension that you could probably buy. You can buy them at that's where we bought them, Hiltz Auto, and you can buy them to make a trailer or something like that if you've ever made a trailer before. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mount, this one's not for this side I don't think, but these will be mounted up in here, and then we'll accept another wheel. This is good for 2,000 pounds. Don't need the 2,000 pounds to help that suspension that I have there. Don't need that at all. I probably will lift it up a little bit, so when it'll ride on a little bit, but it'll just be there more so for looks than anything. But if it's needed, it's 2,000 pounds. So basically I'm just going to run one of these back here, put another wheel in behind that wheel, then we'll have the dual wheels to match the picture. So basically what I have to do is, or what I'm going to do is start framing it up and do the process of making it. I've got this stuck out on the back here. This is going to be for so the car can go up on the back of the car, on the back of the truck easier than having a ramp right up from here, coming straight back and trying to ramp it up from there. Don't want to do that. I've looked at a lot of other trucks and they have a little, I guess they call it a beaver tail. I'm not sure. This is my very first flat deck truck that I'm going to make, my very first, and I'm going to learn as I go, obviously. But I got like a beaver tail thing going on. I'm thinking I can ramp it from probably back here somewhere out. Give me a couple little ramps so I can get it up on there nicely. When I show this piece here like this, when I come down here, you're not going to see, hoping that you're not going to see the beaver tail, because I'm hoping that this length right here, from here, when this all the way comes back, when this piece of exhaust pipe comes all the way back, hits right on the end of that. That's what I'm hoping. Then you won't see that beaver tail, and you won't see it if things go right. So I'm going to cut the first piece to show you how I'm going to go about it. I'm going to grab my glasses here for a second. And remember, if you stick through the whole video, I'm going to show you what I did on the Bugatti, because I'm working on the Bugatti. It's just sometimes I feel like it's when I'm underneath the car. Jolene can't be underneath the car filming when I'm doing that and grinding and throwing sparks. So basically, I will show you what I'm doing when I'm doing it. Alrighty, I got a tape measure here close by. So I just want to center. I just centered this piece right here, this piece of angle iron. I centered it on there. So now I'm going to cut a chunk of metal out of it and set it down on the chassis to show you exactly what I'm going to do. You wouldn't think that a piece of 3/16 angle iron would be something good to put a deck on with, but in my brain, I've come up with this idea that it'll be okay. It'll be okay. So, and the reason I bought this is because it's cheaper than buying square stock. Like I said, I didn't want it to go up any higher. There's a few things going on there. So I'm going to grab a cord. I'm going to cut this and I'm going to show you how I'm going to go about it. And to put on the cross members. I'm going to put on a bunch of cross members to come back to the front wheel. I'll probably end up connecting it together. Let's do it. Instead of talking about it, more doing, less talking. How about that? Alrighty. I measured it so it was 19 inches. 19 inches on each side centered the frame for me. That's the outside, that is. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to measure 19 inches. I'm going to go here, measure 19 inches. I'm going to grab a square. Not something to eat, the square. Alrighty. Let's do this here for a second. So, cut that one. We'll get the first one going, get a couple going, then you can see what's going to happen. 2 3/4 is as wide as the frame is. 2 3/4, wrong mark. I better check that just to make sure. Just to make sure. 2 3/4 seems to be okay. Come on in. You can make your deck any way you want to, but this is the idea I've come up with, and I'm going for it. Cut it from that side because I can see where the metal's just so I can see where it's going off there. It's not bad. Probably could get off a little bit more. So I'll have to make sure I try to get each one like that to make it level as possible. So that's what we'll do. Nope, I'm not gonna do that. Got that one. Got a spark in my eye. You'd think that thin pair of glasses would have helped that, but I think I got a spark in my eye. So I've got a bunch of these to cut, obviously. Now, I hope it fits down over with not too much fuss. If it doesn't, we'll have to come back and cut it again, obviously. But this is what I'm hoping. Okay, it's not bad. Probably could be what can I say? The back part, I got a piece of metal in my eye, I know I do. The back part could be taken down a little bit more because that's 3/16. It's a little bit higher there. I guess it doesn't matter a whole lot. Okay, I'm gonna come over this side and explain why I bought the angle arm, why I think it's gonna work. Reason I bought the angle arm, because I think it's more reasonable. When I put this on here, you can see that this piece here hangs down over. You think it's gonna bend, but once it's welded on the side of the chassis, you cannot bend that down because it's going to hit the end of the chassis, basically. That's what I'm thinking. And I've got a little bit of movement there, that's fine. A little bit of movement, but what happens is when the weight comes on that down on there, on that, when the weight comes down on it, can't move anymore because it's going down on the chassis. You're not going to bend that when that's welded down on there on that. That's what I'm thinking. And the reason I bought it is because it was more reasonable. I'm going to take and maybe take a little bit more out of there. Don't know how I'm going to do that yet. But basically that's what I'm thinking. I'm going to weld that on there. And that car would never bend that in a foot and a half situation. Put that on there like that. Not like I'm getting a little bit of bend on it right now just because of this right here. I've got a little too much metal right in there where I've cut it off, so I want to grind it back some more, or I can leave it up a little bit and then weld it across here. Probably what I will do, just to flush it out. So that means I haven't built the chassis up too high, and this will be on the outside. So I've got a bunch of those to make. We'll make another one. I think what I'll do is put this right on another one, make the marks, and then I'll know exactly where to go. So I'm going to have to clean off the chassis where I'm going to do them. I'll mark them every 16th. I'll make another one, and then I'll show you where I'm going to go from there. I guess. Probably could get the plasma cutter going, probably. Just trying to flush them off. That's all. I'm going to mark P on this one. And the reason I'm going to mark P on this one is for pattern. I'm going to use this one for the pattern for them all. Basically, if you make something, I was always taught to use the one that you have to fit, use that for every one of them, and then that's your pattern. I wouldn't want to take and use the one I'm cutting next for the pattern. You just keep the same one as your pattern, and that way there you'll be making the same one every time. I'm going to cut that. Just kind of thinking how I'm going to. I think what I'll do is I'll just leave that up in the air, and then I'll just weld that, give me more room to weld. When I got this on here like this, I've marked that. Same thing I always say, that's the inside of the pattern I want. That's the line, so I need that line to be gone, because that's, how that's going. check it out and see if it's the same distance. It looks like the same distance to me. I'm gonna change the disc. So I'm going to have to measure out on the chassis every 16th. Every 16th is right on the tape measure. It's red, so it should be easy to do. Every 16th is in the red. So let's go along there, put my first one down, and then measure that. Put one in front of it, wherever. So it's pretty basic. Wherever the red mark is, shows you every 16th. So I'll have to put them all the way along. When it comes to the wheels, so I'll probably get 3 or 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I will stop in front of the wheels, and then I'll have to bring it inside here. And that's where the fender is going to have to be, like I showed on the picture, I'm thinking. And also, Jolene's car is not going to be very heavy. Not hauling anything on this other than this is the pattern. Excuse me. I should actually just show what's going on. Not sure which way I'm going first. I think I'm going to go this way. That one doesn't fit down on that side, does it? What's going on? Fit good on the other side, didn't it? That is the pattern. It fit good last time. I put it on there. All right, there's one. That would be the pattern, so that's the one I'm going to use. We'll put this one on to show you basically where I'm going. So, 1, 16th, 32, 48, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it like that. Once I get enough of them on there, then I'll do this. And then that will be welded on the outside of that like that. And basically, there's going to be a gap. When you weld exhaust pipe to something, there's always a gap. But I'm going to flush it out. I'm going to run something flush across that there. And then we'll have to fill, or I might even, I'll just probably weld it up. Put lots of weld on it. I'll probably run that along there like that, flush it out. So it comes flush here. So I'll come back to wherever, to the wheel as far as I can come with that exhaust pipe. Then I will take and measure down what I think I need to get in line with this. And then there will be a piece of flat stock, piece of 18 gauge or 14 gauge probably, weld it in the middle of this exhaust pipe, up to the middle of this exhaust pipe, which gives me my close piece, which also gives me the holes to put in. Once I get over top of the fender, there has to be a fender there, and then we'll continue on back there. So basically, I think you know what's going on. Come on now. I got it fitting good. Come on off. And we'll scratch the frame up a bit, but this is the one we're using for a pattern. So I'm going to do it again. I'm not sure if you want to watch me do that or not, but I'm going to cut 4 today. I'm going to cut 4 of these and put them on the back part, measure every 16th, and then the exhaust pipe will be welded on each side, bringing it back. Let's show you what I got done to the Bugatti. Let's do it. Do you want me to cut more? Or, I mean, yeah, it's kind of loud. I'll do 4, and then we'll do some exhaust pipe. Last time we did a film on the Bugatti. We was doing the tie rod ends. If you want to come in this way, sweetheart, and then you can see more. I've got the tie rod ends hooked up. They're not, it's not in line yet. It's just hooked up. Alrighty, so we got that one done. Obviously that one was drilled on the show there, the video that we did. Then they were on to the process of this. Now we've got the brake lines. I got the brake lines on that side with the shock. I took the shock off and I put the brake line on. If you come over this side, I've got the shock off so I can show you more what's going on. This is the flex line. When I put the flex line on, there was a copper washer in there. Generally, most flex lines have crush washers. I learned that as I went. There's a crush washer in there. What I did is I bought some of these tabs at Speedway Motors. I could have made them, but I couldn't make them as nice as they did. You know what I mean? They're all punched out and they look really nice. Where are they? Is there one here? I thought there was more. There is more, right there. You can buy them in a package. They got the lock clip and they got the little clip itself that you can buy. I bought them because they fit the flex line nice and they look good. So now that I have that on there, it looked to me like it looks like it's going to hit the rubber, hit the airbag. We want to keep a good distance between that, but I'm going to show you. Did not tighten this up yet because it's not at that point. So we'll take that off. When I move the front end, we're a good distance, nothing's hitting. And when we come this way, nothing's hitting. So that's basically all I did. I've just made sure that I bolted that in the right spot. I drilled that in actually I drilled that with one of these, the step bit. And the reason I like to drill it I like the step bits because they don't take off on you generally. Generally when you poke it in or poke it on the car and you go to drill a hole, that's where it drills the hole. They don't seem to run on you, the step bits. So if you want something to not run, the step bits are good for that. So basically I have that where I need it. It's not going to hit. I have both of them like that. We have the tie rod end on now. We have it locked. We have it locked in with one of our locks. So the flex line's not taken off anywhere. So now I've got to run brake lines from there back to the master cylinder on this side. The rack and pinion is in there tight and right. On this part, I'll probably end up, I did not put the lock pin back in on the joint yet. I'll probably put some Loctite on that and screw that right in. As you can see, if Joey can see, we're about that far away from the bottom of the motor mount, which is perfect, and we're the exact same distance from the top. So a double D shaft, I'll go get it, just to show how close everything is and how we had to do it. I'll be right back, sweetheart. This is a double D shaft and it's got 2 flat sides on it. I use them quite a bit. It's because I make a lot of steering. So we have, and that'll go in there like so. And that basically, that's it. I also have a pin to go into the top piece. I can't get at that now. Now I'm going to have to drill a hole in the exhaust pipe and bring the steering around to put that log pin in. So I'm going to have to do that, but that seems to be okay. Then we're going from here to the steering column to the dash. Or actually we're going through the steering column through the firewall to the dash, basically. Don't know if this is going to be that long, not sure, but that's where the steering's going. That's more or less where it had to go to make that engine work. Yesterday, I got, if you want to come over through here, sweetheart, to show you where I'm going and what I'm doing. Yesterday, I got all the firewall nailed down, welded all the way around the edge where it's spot weld. You can see where it's nice and shiny and welded there. I welded that all the way around there because that firewall is welded nice and tight and right. I welded all the square stock that come over to the middle to the tunnel. I welded that all up and closed that off, made 12 little pieces that close that off. And the floor that comes underneath that square stock, I tacked it every inch and went all the way along there and did that. I'll basically probably end up seam sealing. Well, I'll end up seam sealing the whole car, but I've got it tightened right now. The firewall is welded in solid. I've got a hole up here where the steering come through, and I had a hole on the other side where the steering, we were going to make it a right-hand drive, but we decided not to. But we're going to go on this side. I've got to put one of those balls in the firewall yet. I've got to get some engine turned aluminum. We might make some, I'm not sure, but you can buy some, so we probably end up buying it and putting it in there. But the whole tunnel is welded up now, so we're moving forward, we're doing good. Basically what my job is, what I'm thinking I'm going to go for next is I've got the seats in here. The seat, I'm going to take the doors off and put some bolts in the seats, make a bracket underneath the framework underneath to hold the seat where it should be. It's a little hard for Jolene to film that, so I'll probably end up doing it and then showing you what's going on. You come back tomorrow, I will have a few more pieces made on this. I've got to run for a few things. I got to run for a couple things. Still have to find some 20-inch wheels to make a couple more rims. So there's things I have to run for to go do, and that's hard on me when I have to do that. I generally like to have everything right here so I can go for it. But we're going forward on the Bugatti. We are. Once I get the seats tied in, and then things can happen with the seats. You know, I can take the seats and take them to the upholsterer, and then we can have the seats done. But we have to have the bracket that's done underneath first to be able to get that done. Alrighty, we'll cut one more of those things, and or what? Just say, cut one more or what? Go for it. Let's cut another one. We got the pattern here. Let's cut another one. I keep saying I got a piece of metal in my eye, but I do. And I have my glasses on. You see me. You see me. Glasses on. So once I get this on here like this, and I get that screwed on like that, and I got a piece, then you can see how I can run my wood on top of that and screw my wood down on top of it, and I have a nice flat deck. I'm only going to be up about yay high. I'll probably use some decking boards, and every 16th the car would never break through it, you know, every 16th. So the deck will be nice and low on this, and we'll be happy. Going for that. Holy, right? Holy. Where'd I put them bad boys? Right there. So basically I have to cut enough of these. Ouch. I don't like that. Pattern, we're going to keep that one. Just don't know if the plasma cutter would give me good enough cut, I don't think. That's all I'm thinking. I'll probably angle them all the same way. Come a little bit more on that one. That's all that has to be done. Youch, that kind of hurt. Basically, we'll get them on like that. We'll make sure they fit. Cool. Let's cut another one. Just looking at it. I don't think anybody needs to watch me grind anymore. We're going to call her on air done for today, but what we're going to do is I'm just going to keep cutting a few, and we'll continue on. That's how I'm going to do it. I'll have to clean off every spot with the grinder. I'm going to show you how easy that will. We rock guarded that. I showed you that. Just how easy that'll clean that off. Just hit a spot. Clean it off like that, and then we'll weld it up. We'll weld some pieces on it. Basically what I'll do is I'll get going back here far enough I can get my exhaust on, and then we'll see where we go from there. But you come back tomorrow, and then we'll do a little bit more, and we'll build it right in front of your very eyes. All right, everybody, have a good one. Basically, that's what I'm doing today, and I will show you all the progress as I do the Bugatti. And if there's something that we're going to film that we think that, you know, Jolie can get at and get a film work on it. She can't film the underneath the car. We will film it. Have a good one, everybody.